Leadership has always been the linking pin between the success of an organization and its resources. Somehow, leadership is that critical linking pin that converts the resources of an organization into organizational success. And organizations have tried different approaches and they have failed dramatically and miserably in the objective of developing leaders. Now, how do we develop this leadership competency is a huge challenge. There are around 100 approaches to developing leaders, ranging from leadership competency building to outbound training programs of leadership. Which is the approach that will work? We know leadership is critical for organizational success. So how do we develop this leadership competency? I think organizations over a period of time have got into the habit of, hit and run kind of solutions where you do a workshop for 2 days on leadership development, you cover a few skills and a few competencies, and then you have that interesting graph that these many training programs conducted, these many training mandates, and these many leadership training programs conducted. But how much of that has actually converted into leadership competency on the ground? Has it converted into some sort of organizational change, some sort of performance change, some sort of an impact, leadership impact on the ground? The answer is a huge question mark. It may or may not have happened, and there's a huge possibility that it may not have happened. There is one solution to this conundrum, and that is leadership coaching. Leadership coaching is fundamentally different from leadership workshops. Leadership workshops are 1, 2, 3 days duration, whereas leadership coaching happens over a period of 6 months. Now, leadership coaching actually consists of, a diagnosis of the leadership competencies of an individual. It is not a one-size-fits-all approach like in a workshop. It's a one-size-fits-all. One size, one training program, one workshop design, with a set of 20 leaders, and they will all be trained on a certain set of similar leadership competencies. Now, that may or may not be successful. However, leadership coaching, it focuses on exact diagnosis of the leadership competency of an individual, diagnosis of the leadership issues that the individual is facing, diagnosis of the challenges that the individual is facing, and thus the result of the leadership diagnosis is an identification of what exactly are the leadership competency gaps of an individual. Thus, leadership coaching becomes extremely customized and focused. And the challenge of leadership coaching is significantly higher because, from a trainer point of view, one cannot get away with just doing a set of workshops, a set of exercises, and developing a competency, following the leadership competency development process, taking it to an application level, and then shrugging off the application part. On the other hand, leadership coaching is not limited to only perception, expansion, and simulation and application. It is actually taking the individual from one leadership paradigm to the other, hand-holding the process of leadership competency development. It starts with diagnosis, and thus leadership coaching becomes completely customized. Now, after the diagnosis has happened and we've identified the key competencies that need to be developed, now it is not necessary that we'll only develop the competencies which are competency gaps. We would also focus on leadership strengths and enhance them further through a competency development process. And then the leadership coaching exercise takes a period of 6 months where there are one-to-one, face-to-face development sessions between the coach and the coachee. In each one-to-one face-to-face session, a leadership competency is taken up, it is explored, assimilated, and then an application plan is designed. The coachee implements that over a period of 1 to 2 weeks, and then in the next review session, there is a discussion regarding what application happened, how it happened, what are the impact, and thus what are the key learning points, and thus how is the skill going to be refined. Thus, the leadership coaching as a process of developing leaders is extremely live. Live issues, live competency development, live application of competency, discussion of live challenges that the leader is facing, and resolution of live issues that the leadership is facing. From a coaching point of view, the challenge of a leadership coaching exercise is far more than a leadership workshop. A leadership workshop can become a factory production system. You have a product, you have key elements of the product, and you keep on doing it for different sets of people in different organizations. Whereas leadership coaching is completely customized, it's focused on the individual, his challenges, his problems, his competencies. And thus, the individual is taken from a certain leadership paradigm before the coaching exercise to another leadership paradigm after the coaching exercise. Thus, the process that actually works in developing leaders is leadership coaching.